and welcome to another YouTube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. Today I'm going to be going over my October TBR, what I've got planned to read in October. I've got 16 books here, so I'm just going to get straight into it because Bake Off is on in an hour and 10 minutes and that's why I'm in my pyjamas. So the first book that I need to finish is Danny Wallace, Yes Man. We discussed this in my book club at work yesterday. I have already read the book, so that's why I was able to discuss it without having finished it. I really like this. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I will go over it in my review, but this is a book about a guy who decides to say yes more after a sort of chance encounter with somebody on a bus, and it's just full of sort of like hijinks and many lulls, and I've laughed out loud quite a few times throughout it, so I've really been enjoying this. So that's the first book that I need to finish in this month. I'll continue with my book club books. So the next book that I'll be reading in my work book club is Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I read Americana by the same author earlier this year and absolutely adored it. It was the best book I had read by far this year. Absolutely incredible, and I've been really looking forward to reading some of that other stuff. I don't know the plot of this book any further than the fact that it's set in 1960s Nigeria. Absolutely looking forward to reading this. This is a second-hand book and it absolutely stinks of old fags, so yeah, that's going to be a real treat when reading. The next book that we are reading in one of my book clubs is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which we are reading on my radio book club. This is the Penguin Cloth Bound Classics edition. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got lots of heart, like actual hearts, not love hearts, on it. My radio book club, I've been wanting to read a classic on there for a while, and as it's October, a bit spooky, I thought this would be absolutely perfect. I find it quite an accessible classic, quite an easy read, and it's not really that long. It's only about 200 pages long. For those of you that don't know the story of Frankenstein, where have you been? It's about a scientist guy who makes a monster out of old body parts, and just sort of like, just that basically. So very spooky, good in keeping book for October. The next book that I will be reading in October for my online book club is Carrie by Stephen King. Insert book picture here. I've got this from the library and it has arrived, but I haven't picked it up yet. And it is a book about a girl in 1980s America who's had quite a strange upbringing. Her mother is very religious, and the girl Carrie discovers that she's got, I think it's telekinetic abilities, and she's the victim of quite a lot of bullying at school and things like this. And I think it's got quite a bit of a big culmination, spooky ending, but not too spooky, so it's quite a good sort of like horror book without being too horrified, so looking forward to reading that. The next books I'm going to go over are the books that I have bought myself. I have bought Alan Bennett, The Uncommon Reader, which I discussed in my September book haul that I'll link below. This is a little novella about the Queen discovering reading, and I just cannot wait to read this. It sounds so cute and I'm really looking forward to it. Also, I mentioned in that very same book haul that I bought Roald Dahl's complete collection of short stories. There is volume 1 and volume 2. I am hoping to get through volume 1 this month. I'm not going to be reading it sort of like sit, pick it up, read it, finish reading it. Because they're short stories, I'm going to sort of dip in and out of them. I might read one before bed, I might read one in the bath, I might read one when I'm on my work break. So yeah, looking forward to getting into some Roald Dahl weirdo short stories. These 3 books are books that I've read, or books that I've put on previous TBRs and haven't got round to reading. On my holiday reads was Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, followed up by Jean Rhys's Wide Sargasso Sea, which is a sort of prequel to this book, without a sort of unofficial prequel, and it is incredible. I've read it for my A-levels. And I can't really tell you what it's about without spoiling either. So if you're a fan of Jane Eyre and you haven't read Wide Sargasso Sea, then it's an absolute must because it is an amazing book. I've also found out that Jean Rhys has written quite a lot of books, which I didn't have any idea about, and I'm looking forward to reading a bit more of her as well. And then the last book that I've put in a previous TBR is Tales of Beedle the Bard by J.K. Rowling. This is a sort of like a company book that goes with the Harry Potter series. It is a sort of folklore or fairy tale that they tell in the wizarding community, a bit like we sort of listen to the Three Little Pigs or Red Riding Hood. It's a tale that the wizarding community tell their children, etc. And it features quite a large part in the 7th Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. So it's just a nice sort of like, just a little extra you can read in with the Harry Potter series, which is lovely. The next two books are books that I borrowed off of friends. I have borrowed off my friend Hazel, Dorothy Coomson, The Flavours of Love. I don't really know what it's about, apart from I think it's got links to food. It does not look like something I'd normally pick up, but that excites me even more because I like to read new things. I believe it's sort of like a bit of a thriller crime book, so excited to get into that. And also my friend Laurel has lent me Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I bought Laurel this for her birthday, and when she opened it she said, oh, I expect you'll be wanting to borrow this as soon as I've read it, and I said yes I will. So as far as I can tell, this is a book about a girl who writes fan fiction for a series called Simon Snow series, which I think is sort of like Harry Potter in this book. So I cannot wait to read this, and I've heard it's really, really cute and really sweet, and I've only ever heard good things, so excited to read this. The last three books are books that I've got out from the library. The first being Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. Heard a review about this on Orla from 40 Something Books channel. She really enjoyed it. I believe it's about a woman who's sort of like multitasking extraordinaire who decides to disappear for a bit and how her family and friends cope with that. I also am going to read Sarah Waters' The Paying Guests. This won the Bailey's Literary Women's Prize for Fiction this year, and I've been wanting to get my hand on some Sarah Waters fiction for quite a while because everybody on BookTube talks about how wonderful she is. And then lastly, the last book that I'm planning on reading, and I'm very, very excited about this, is The Fisherman by Chigozie Obiama. This has been shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize this year. There has been so much hype on BookTube at the moment due to the Man Booker vloggers about what books have been shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize, who's going to win, etc, etc. And I've been wanting to read some of these Man Booker long-listed and shortlisted books, but because they're all hardbacks, and also I'm not a fan of hardbacks are very expensive and they're heavy to hold, and also because they are Man Booker nominated, the list of reservations at the library is unbelievable. I saw this at my library and thought, well, there must be a mistake, somebody must have put a request on this and they've just put it out by accident. It did not. So this is one of the 6 shortlisted books that I've managed to get my hands on. I'm hoping to read this by the time they announce the winner, which is next week. So those are my books that I've got to read for October. They are quite diverse, quite a lot of different books in there, which is quite fun because last month I read a lot of non-fiction, and although I enjoyed it, I didn't get as much done because I think I was sort of like in a non-fiction sort of reading and it going in my brain box bit. But yeah, so these are the books that I'm planning on reading this month. What have you got planned to read in your month of October? Have you read any of these before? Did you enjoy them? I would love to hear from you, so if you'd like to comment below and have a little chat with me, then let's do it. See you soon. Bye.